also make money as a detailer. My favorite one step. One left to right, one up and down. One left to right. This, for a consumer, is $250.
All right, you guys, I'm gonna try this. $250 one-step polish job in an hour. I'm thinking humbly it could be 90 minutes or less. But let me show you here. I've got my 2 buckets. My pad washer to the left, my bucket of O&R with a couple of big red sponges in there to the right. I've got my orange waffle pads here, IK foamer with power clean, some hyper polish there. I've got Ferrex over there. I'm gonna pull this thing out, I'm gonna get the hose going, and we're gonna see if I can't wash clay with Ferrex, rinse, and polish this thing. See how it's already got some stuff going on, scratches like that, all the way up. Like, we're not gonna make it perfect, right? But I'm gonna see what I can do with this quickie, so to speak. And because it's a new car and it has so much shine, I think this is gonna look incredible. All right, you guys, it's about 4:45 p.m. Let's try this. Okay, so I'm gonna fast forward this as much as I can. This is foaming with the IK foamer, power clean diluted 5:1. I'm just trying to do what Yvan showed us during OptiCoat certification training. And you know, that video at the beginning of this YouTube video was all about Yvan kind of in the moment, you know, bringing that up, where a one-step polish, including a prep, even a decon if you want, and then a one-step polish, or a gloss enhancement polish I should say, was $250. And that got me thinking, you know, what if a wash and wax was $99? But what if the one-step polish was $250 and I could knock it out in an hour? So I wanted to know, using Yvan's method, and then you wonder why my things don't last as I yank the Sun Joe pressure washer. I never treat a client's vehicle like that, but all of my own stuff, including my own truck, for whatever reason, just gets beat up. Not for whatever reason, it's because I'm disorganized. That's why I had OptiCoat certification training to get organized. Here we are with the big red sponge. So I've power cleaned, okay, I've rinsed, I've big red sponged, and now we have polymer rings. This is Ferrex on a clay towel. You guys, this blew my mind. You see how much Ferrex I used? This is the iron remover in Optimum's line. I do like 2 sprays, and that clay towel is folded into 4s, and look how much it suds up. With the O&R on the panel, there's something to this synergy, because normally I would spray 50 sprays of my iron remover on the paint, let it dwell, use the iron remover as a clay lube again, yada 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 yada. So I'm just doing the same process. I foamed the entire car. I then rinsed off that IK foamer, you know, with power clean. I then did the big red sponge. Now I'm Ferrexing the hood, and I'm letting the Ferrex dwell on the passenger side as well. That's not really in direct sunlight, and it's my understanding that a lot of these Optimum products can take a little bit of sunlight, not a ton, but dwell time's not gonna hurt plastics, and if it does, hyper polish is coming, right? My goal here is a quickie polish on every surface. That includes the trim and the windows, because you can do that with hyper polish. So I know the video is not super exciting from this angle, but I'm just trying to show you in real time. I was going to play it out minute by minute, and I thought, gosh, that's some Matt Mormon Obsessed Garage stuff, which, respect to Matt, you know what I mean? He has his lane, and I respect him. He's very successful. I don't know how anyone sits through hour-long videos, because I definitely have not been very interesting so far, and I'm sure I could not hold your attention for an hour. So I'm just trying to fast forward this kind of to honor your time. The prep process in total, I think, took me, I looked at the raw video, about 17 minutes. I feel like that is on the one hand kind of long, and on the other hand, I don't know, not that bad, you know? I mean, the prep is like essentially the wash, right? The wash and the clay. And then, you know, with O&R on the surface, so you don't have to worry so much about chasing everything. Anyway, I think what I'm doing here is I'm doing a final O&R wipe down just so that anything that dries on the panel, anything that dries on the panel is hopefully going to have, you know, some of the polymers from O&R on it, and it'll be the residue that I can start polishing on, right? The idea is you can just keep working step after step in the Optimum system. And I was so intrigued by Ivan saying 1 hour. We would charge $250 for 1 hour. So I'm using the waffle pads. You can even see one in the foreground. Oh, sweet Lord, Nick, what a mess you are. Optimum Hyper Polish, the pad washer. I only used that for the first time at training. Speed 3, speed 6, and then the idea is you let it dry out. There's some O&R left on the pad, and so Ivan said up, down, left, right, up, down, right? So I think in this first pass I did it up, down, left, right, up, down, left, right, left, right. I figured it out eventually, and the idea is, you know, here I'm just doing my test spot. I just want to see, okay, what is an orange pad and hyper polish going to do for me? Ivan said he really liked orange and intensive polish. I never bought the intensive, I just bought the hyper. So the idea here again is I want to get every surface. We're getting the pillar there. Boom. The great thing about hyper polish is, guess what, guys? Does not stain trim. Does not dust. And so right now I'm like, I am going to get these windows nice. I'm going to get all the trim. I'm going to get, you know, but I noticed that some residue was building up. So then I, you know, hit it with the pad washer. And I don't know how I'm going to narrate this whole thing except for to say that I want to tell you what I'm focusing on here. And when Ivan did his little speech, it was like, put away the light, put away the paint correction light. So to me, it's kind of inspiring. It's like, you could sell this as your customer, even if you wanted to go there to be like, listen, like, we're not going for perfection. I'm not bringing out my scroll finder light. And if you do, you'll probably see things. But we're going to make this shinier. We're going to add some gloss. I just put some Power Clean on my pad, by the way. If you feel like your pad's getting gunked up, you can put Power Clean on there and then hit it in the pad washer. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm excited to try to sell this as, you know, a gloss enhancement package, because I'd never even tried to do something like this. I'd only had like a more expensive one step that I've played around with prices on, but currently is at about $400 for a one step. But it feels like there should be something like this for the customer. And so I wanted to see in real time on this vehicle if I could make it happen. There's some inefficiencies here, and when you guys see them, point them out to me, because trust me, I can look back on this and think of a million things that maybe I would have wanted to do better. Like, for instance, right here, I think maybe, is that too much work? I don't know, but I wanted to put that work into a panel that I figured someone would see, right? At eye level. Okay. No, was I being excessive there? I don't know. I'm trying to get every surface, right? Hitting the trim. Gotta get the pad washer going. A little Power Clean on there. It's interesting. You use this pad enough and it starts to feel a lot different than the dry pad that you started with that felt quite firm. It starts to feel kind of wet and mushy a little bit, but I think maybe I'm either gunked up with stuff, or I'm just a rookie and I don't know why, but so I was just being extra careful with the pad, trying to clean it out with Power Clean. But really, you don't need to clean it out with Power Clean all the time. You know, the O&R in the bucket is meant to work as a system. Like I said, speed 3, you agitate it against the plastic in there, and then you take it off the agitation and you put it on speed 6. You let it dry out a little bit, and then I'm just going to keep working the polish. And you notice after that first test panel, I'm not going to wipe off the hyper polish. Now, the cool part about this step is you can wipe it off with an O&R dampened towel and then spray your last step product of choice. hypothetically in the Optimum line. So it could be Optimum Car Wax, OptiSeal, or I like Hyperseal. But in class we did learn that it's a ceramic sealant based on, I don't know what it is, the SiO2 or whatever's in there. So I guess you could upsell it as a ceramic sealant, Hyperseal, but it's kind of been one of my spray sealants of choice. It did remind me though, like as detailers, we keep spending more on the nice stuff for our customers. Then we spend a lot of money testing to find out the nice stuff, and it's like at some point the customer should pay for that. So maybe the customer only gets OptiSeal or Optimum Car Wax unless they pay for more. And in class we learned that we should upcharge for OptiSeal because it's a sealant that lasts longer than the wax, right? So these are things I knew but had sort of like in my mind made different decisions around, and so just a good reminder. So I'm trying to hit every piece of real estate with an up, down, left, right, up, down, up, down. Let's see here. Yeah, I start with the back windshield. I mean, I feel good about this. The fact that I'm polishing all the glass. Like normally I would have to tape something up and do a lot of like finagling. By the time I get to the glass, that's the last thing I'm worried about. But with hyper polish on an orange waffle, this medium cut, I feel like it can go after some, minor scratches. And for the most part, we're just trying to let it do its thing. And I wasn't moving particularly slow or fast. I think I was just pretty normal arm speeds. But I'm pretty confident with everything, that I can polish with hyper polish. It's kind of nice. I think I noticed that I missed a spot there. So I'm starting to get a little sloppy halfway through. I mean, like I said, I'd never done this before. And I noticed about halfway through that things were not looking good. Like I was well past a half an hour at this point. I think I was close to about 45 minutes. Remember, this includes prep, right? This includes the wash and the Ferrex and the rinse. So at this point I'm about 45 minutes in and I'm thinking, okay, getting to an hour is going to be pretty tricky, but how close to that can I get? So I stayed with it. Left, right, up, down. Let's see, did I do what Ivan told me to do? Left, right. Do I go back to that panel? No, I'm up there. No, I tried to do what he told me. I think maybe just watching this, probably my passes were a little slow. This is probably a gloss enhancement plus. I was still probably focused on, let me just see what scratches I can't get as I make my quick passes. So I'll bet, in just watching this, the next time I do this, I will be even more efficient. I will stick to up, down, left, right. I mean, look at this. We're in fast forward and you can see that I'm babying that polisher. Look how slow I'm going. I'm trying to really dig in there and get some good stuff. Not dig in a pressure way, but in a way of like, let me put a little bit more pressure on the first pass and then lean a little bit less into it on the second pass. Like I said, just making stuff up as I go. That's not what Ivan told us to do. And this is not about perfection, being Jason Kilmer, Aaron Knox, any of these Pebble Beach people. Like, that's not what this quickie is about. This quickie is about hitting every piece of real estate with an up, down, left, right, up, down process. Ivan even told me you could get away with up, down, left, right on like a silver and white car sometimes. But you know what I think is cool about this is I normally do not polish all the glass or the trim. Like I'm not going after that stuff. We're paying for a paint polish. That's what I'm there to do. I tape everything up, and sure, I'll wipe down the windows with O&R at the end. But I mean, I would argue having clean polished windows everywhere is pretty cool. See, I'm just going too slow here. Now I'm trying to be the artist. We're getting toward the end of the vehicle. We're like 3/4 of the way through, and yeah, I'm seeing it right here. The slowdown was happening. It was sunny out. I had done a job earlier that day, and oh my gosh, yeah, I'm seeing it now. Just things are starting to get inefficient. I mean, what am I doing? I'm over there tilting the pad, trying to get granted it's hot out, and I know this is the driver's door, and by this point I'm like, wow, I gotta make sure the driver's side's good, or he won't even notice the other stuff. And I'm telling myself all these stories in my head, and meantime the camera's fast forwarding and I haven't polished paint in minutes. it's like, what am I still doing over here, you know? I feel like there was a lot of time wasted on this door now that I'm looking at it. A lot of time wasted in this corner. Or maybe I'm just being overly dramatic, as I sometimes tend to be. Sorry about the camera shaking. Holy moly. Alright, and hopefully what you see there on the front of this Outlander is just some residue, you know, from O&R. We're teetering a little bit in the wind. How long do you give it before the camera falls over? See, and I'm still over there in this corner. It's like, give it up with the corner, man. Move on. Get to the hood. Like, if I were watching this, I would just be like, what is taking so long? There's no swirl finder light here. This is all about just hitting the real estate, back, forth, back, forth. And just to give you a sense of the process here on the hood, just letting the machine do the work. I was giving them nice and slow passes. Again, just kind of watching this makes me realize probably going slower than Yvan taught us to do. I'm going to finish off this side of the hood. Back, forth, up, down. I don't even remember what his instructions are at this point. I'm sure I'm just exhausted and trying to make the hood look perfect because I'm a detailer. And it was nice though, getting to polish everything up front. There's a good gloss on that vehicle already. I mean, I'm proud of what this was able to accomplish, but as we get toward the end, I'll tell you this much. I finished at a pretty clean 90 minutes. So 1 hour and 28 minutes, I believe, was kind of what I ended up at. But, you know, I think there's plenty of room for improvement. Okay, this is what it looks like after that Optimum inspired one step. I counted, I was washing for about 17 minutes. But, I mean, there's still a lot of swirls on this paint. I could get up close and show you, but it just looks so glassy. So I did apply like a different company's product for this, and only because I didn't have an Optimum product. But yeah, I mean, I think this would be an awesome package. If nothing else, I didn't think I could polish paint this quickly, you know. I think a very thorough gloss enhancement polish in just over an hour. And I'm very confident this would make most customers happy.